Okay, share screen. Okay, awesome. Um, Hello everyone for my, oops. So for my third data blitz, the article or the study that I decided to use was this one study that tested sharks' hearing ability through the use of operant conditioning. So the research question posed was, can operant conditioning be used as a way to test and measure sharks' hearing? Um, and the researchers wanted to see if sharks responded to operant conditioning tactics. What frequency of sound do they respond best to or respond most to? And they tested two different species of sharks in two different ways. So the scalloped hammerhead and the rig shark, and they tested them in two different ways. And also they tested how long their reactions to the sounds lasted. So for both pairs of sharks, they placed them in large seawater tanks and placed speakers in various points of the tank, kind of like in the figure shown at the bottom. And they played various sounds with various wavelength levels. And to measure the S. lewini, they recorded tail beat frequency after playing the tone to see if that changed. And for the M. lenticulatus, they recorded how many times the shark swam over the target. So the target is seen in the bottom corners of the tank. They record how many times the shark swam over the target after they played the tone. They did not provide food during the testing periods, only during the pre-trial training sessions. So the results were pretty significant. They found that on the left, you can see the target crossing. So you can see a significant jump in the target crossings after the tone is played. And then a minute and 2 minutes later, you can still see slight increases, but it generally goes down after about a minute to 30 seconds to a minute. And on the right, you can see the different types of, so this is for the M. lenticulatus, the one where they tested their the amount of times they swam past the target. So on the right, you can see the type of movement that was most performed when crossing the target. And they found that the movement most performed was circling over the target. So they did swimming past the target, making a sharp turn over the target, and then the most frequently used action was this swimming over in circles over the target. Now, there was also, so for the S. lewini, the other shark where they measured the tail beat frequency, there's also a table, but I had a really hard time exporting the table into my slideshow. So basically, what they found though was after the tone was played of 400 hertz signal, they saw a significant increase in the tail beats per 30 seconds, which can be seen in this graph. B shows a significant jump in the frequency of tail beats as opposed to a 2K hertz control and a no signal. So there are some limitations to this study. Some of the drawbacks are that sharks, when put in tanks, become distressed. And also when they feed by themselves, they're very social creatures, so it lessened their cooperation. So one thing that the researchers did was they placed naive sharks in the experiment to enhance the sharks being tested's performance, but we're not sure if that maximized their performance to directly mimic what they would do in the wild or not. So it's a little uncertain. We're not sure. So that's one of the limitations. Sharks can also hear differently depending on where they are in the cage when the speakers make the sound, because sound moves differently underwater. And so what the researchers did in order to negate this was that they had to wait for the shark to be in a certain area of the cage when they played the sound. Also, sharks need space to swim, but the larger the enclosure is, the more difficult it is to eliminate background sounds and background noises. And so that also becomes a limitation as well. However, in conclusion, the Esloveni increased tail beat frequency after hearing a tone of 400 hertz to about 97 tail beats per minute per 30 seconds, as opposed to 69 tail beats per 30 seconds after the 2K hertz and 70 beats per 30 seconds after no sound. The M. lenticulatus increased frequency of visiting the targets after hearing the tone of 200 hertz, 13.4 times per minute, as opposed to 1.4 times per minute for the 1.2 K hertz and 0.9 times per minute for no sounds. So, and then, yeah, I think my works cited is the last slide.